Hi, my name is Manny. I'm 22 years old, and I'm sort of an artist. Welcome to Manny's Art Room. I'm here with the very first episode of Art Therapy Thursdays. This is a series I'd like to start on this channel where I gather you guys around the metaphorical campfire and we talk about a wide array of subjects that have to do with mental health and how it relates to art. And while we do that, I'm going to be showing you guys a nice little speed painting or time lapse or something of the sort. And then we just kind of talk, we just vibe, you know? So on today's first episode, we're going to be talking about self-doubt and how it can hurt your art. And moreover, what steps you can take as an artist to keep your self-doubt in check and possibly make it go away. You know, I'm not guaranteeing you that your self-doubt is going to go away after watching this video, but I'm going to try to teach you guys some things about self-doubt that you can keep in mind when judging your own artwork. So first things first, the thing about self-doubt that's so tricky is that it fundamentally doesn't come from yourself. What? Right? Your self-doubt oftentimes comes from a feeling of not meeting up to your expectations, right? And expectations are oftentimes formed out around us, right? I mean, we do form expectations within ourselves, but ultimately those are informed by expectations others might have for us or expectations that we perceive others might have for us. The first thing I want to tell you guys, whoever's struggling out there with self-doubt, that you are not in control of anyone else's expectations of you. And while at first that might be, I don't know, not necessarily reassuring, keep in mind that we all walk around with expectations in our head, and it's not your job to fulfill the expectations of others sometimes. And I feel like this is important for young artists to hear in particular, because many young artists get started and they're kind of frustrated with their work and they're kind of comparing it to other people, and they have expectations based off of where other people are, or other people have expectations of where they should be based off of other people's artwork. And I'm here to tell you that that's oftentimes not a healthy way to think as an artist. Because look, at the end of the day, fundamentally, you should be making art to please you. Sure, it's nice for others to recognize how good your art is or to get praise from others about your art, but fundamentally, you make art for yourself. And if you keep that in mind, then hopefully that can kind of mitigate some of the self-doubt. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if that self-doubt stops you from creating, then it's something that you got to get rid of. I mean, a natural amount of self-doubt is healthy and it's normal. You guys shouldn't let it paralyze you. You guys should recognize that you don't have to meet anyone else's expectations but your own. Another thing I'd like to talk about self-doubt with you guys is the fact that oftentimes we self-sabotage. I know many people in my life, and I'm sure many people have been this person, where if you try something new with art or in anything in life and you're not immediately great at it, you kind of give it up. And ultimately it's self-defeating. You know, it's a snake eating its own tail, right? Because if you think that you have to be perfect at something first go, or you have to create a masterpiece the first time you pick up a pencil, then you're oftentimes going to be afraid and discouraged to try something new. And this is a fear I'm working on myself. I personally kind of struggle with creativity. Oftentimes I find myself drawing the same old portrait or the same old figures in the same positions because that's what I know how to make look good. But oftentimes, you know, you don't need things to look good, right? It doesn't need to be a masterpiece. Practice makes perfect ultimately, and if you're not practicing, then you're gonna grow stagnant in your art. And it's tough, right? I get that sometimes we get caught up under this weight of wanting to create a masterpiece or wanting to create something that we can show our friends or put on Instagram and get a million likes. It's okay to create artwork that no one else but you sees. I think the moment that we let go the moment that we accept that our art is our own and no one else's, and we have full dominion over it, the moment that we kind of get brave and we can explore and come out of our shells as artists. The worst thing about self-doubt can be the fact that it takes away motivation from young artists. And I feel like when you're beginning art, that's sort of the most formative points for you as an artist, right? What you're taught kind of will define how you process art going forward or how you learn about art going forward. So self-doubt pushes you to never try and pushes you to kind of stay in your lane. Then you're never going to grow. So I mean, something that I'll do sometimes, right? I don't recommend people do this because this is kind of a waste of paper. It's kind of easier to do in Photoshop. Is I'll just create something, I'll just throw down lines willy-nilly until something looks cohesive, and then I'll run with it. And if I don't like it, I'll just delete it, right? Because ultimately, the more strokes I lay down as an artist in general, the better of an artist I'll become. Even if those strokes aren't seen by anybody, even if no one's around to give it likes or whatever, it still is innately valuable to me as an artist and valuable to my artistic journey. One of my favorite philosophers, Friedrich Nietzsche, oftentimes talks about the power of the human will, our will to power, our will to create our own destinies. And I think sometimes the word talent is dangerous to artists because talent tells you that your destiny is guided. Saying someone is talented or saying, I wish I was as talented as this person, makes it seem like that person's level of artistic skill is preordained. It makes it seem unattainable, right? When fundamentally, art is just muscle memory. Art is practice and getting used to understanding what you're looking at and understanding your processes for drawing. And of course, everybody's process is different and no one has to all draw the same way or whatever. So it's kind of useless to compare yourself to another person, right? Or it's useless to say like, oh, I can never do this because I'm not talented. Because no artist came out the womb with a pen and a pencil ready to create the Mona Lisa. We all started somewhere. We all at some point didn't even know what a pencil was, right? We were all babies at some point. So I think you just need to keep in mind sometimes that it's okay to try. It's okay to recognize that nobody gets it perfect first time and that everybody has to try is empowering in a way. It makes you realize that your own success is within your grasp and within your control, not based off of some arbitrary thing that someone has, right? It kind of reminds me of this study that I read about, where two groups of fifth graders were tasked with doing different puzzles and other assignments of the sort. And then one group of fifth graders was told that they did very well on those objectives and tasks and puzzles because they were talented. And the other group of fifth graders were told that they did successfully because of their hard work. This resulted in the group that was being told that they were gifted or talented being less motivated to continue the puzzles, whereas the group that was told that they were hardworking completed every single puzzle. So while we kind of like to think of this concept of talent as nebulous, something that you either have or you don't, it's ultimately not beneficial to think that way. If you sit back and realize that your success, and specifically in terms of art, your success is hinged more on how much effort you put into trying to be successful versus your success being hinged on your talent. I think that's another misconception about art that some people carry into it that leads to this self-doubt. But I don't know. Ultimately, I'm just a random dude who's pretty good at art, who's talking into a microphone about why you shouldn't doubt yourself. So hey, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button and comment down below if you'd like to see more videos like these. I'm probably gonna do maybe like 2 or 3 more and see if you guys like them or see if they, whatever. But yeah. Also, let me know in the comment sections down below if you guys have ever experienced self-doubt, or if you guys have any tried and true techniques to limiting your own self-doubt. But yeah, with that said, I'm Manny the Mage, linked to my gaming channel as well as my Twitch, all in the description down below. And this has been Manny's Art Room. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.